crystals humming, sacred grids remade, vibrational shift from 3D to 5D and beyond. Galactic family, eternal bond. Ascending now to the 7th dimension.
All right, namaste and catch, my family. We are here with your dose of light for this crazy energy that's going on. I'd like to introduce, I should say, everyone to my brother here, Mr. Mike Ricksecker. What's up, brother? What's poppin'?
Hey, Rion, thanks for having me today. Love the intro, by the way. That's fantastic.
Listen, you can't touch us. What are you gonna do? That's our original music. We got us as speakers dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, this is the Millennium Falcon, Mike. Millennium Falcon.
Well, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. So, but yeah, you had me there as Sirius Black from Harry Potter.
I did. Listen, it's hard to find the face to match the dancer. Listen, I put Fisher. It makes me laugh every time. My buddy Zach, who's doing the Day of Being after our conference on Monday. I have him as like a dancing dude. I don't know. Just you have friends you just want to put weird faces on. That's Zach. I love that guy. No.
You have fun.
No, but listen, you guys, ladies and gents, real talk. I know the energy out there is cray. I know that a lot of us are balancing and stabilize different territories on Earth. I know that there's a lot of financial abundance inbound. I know that there are a lot of appointments and things that are going on right now. And I know that a lot of people aren't being told the truth on certain things that are going on right now behind the scenes. I get it. I'm right there with you. Let's everyone take a deep breath, have some patience. And Mike doesn't even know. Guys, ladies and gents, why don't you tell Mike what's really popping over? He goes, so this is new. Emily introduced me to you. What is this? And I'm like, bro, we're the hidden, we're the angels behind the scenes. And this is our private YouTube channel for us, the 144.
This is all Emily's fault.
Yeah, all these people in the comments are some of the most awake, highly intelligent people on Earth from every country on Earth. And at the end, I'll show you, everyone can punch in where they're watching from. But no, Mike, I saw you. Emily recommended you, and you're I'm like, what's his forte? And they're she's like Stargates and portals. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that's my jam. Basically, Stargates and portals. So without further ado, Mike, why don't you introduce yourself to our people here on TeamLight, and obviously, a little bit about your history, but truly, what this episode is going to be about is Stargates and portals, because I think between me and you, bro, it's like a Marvel team up. I know you have a completely different, probably scientific based and energetic based knowledge of all the places you get to go and see. And I think for our audience here, they would love to learn from you. So without further adaudlet's get some info for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, based out of the Cleveland, Ohio area, born and raised, spent a little bit in Massachusetts as a kid. U.S. Air Force veteran, so I bounced around quite a bit here. But it for me goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I was an experiencer. I had things that were showing up in my bedroom, different houses that we lived in, and it's been something that's followed me on and on and on over the years. I wasn't sure what it was. I spent some time as a paranormal investigator for a while, and then I always had an interest in ancient Egypt. that's always followed me, and just over the years realizing the two worlds really mesh together between what we would consider supernatural, of course, consciousness, and then the ancient wisdom from these times in our distant past. And really, it's I liken it to an infusion of what we would look at as far as ancient technologies, archaeological aspects, all of that. Try to bring science into it, but also knowing that you have that metaphysical side. My fiance, we're getting married here in a week in Sedona, and she's a QHHT practitioner, so we'll get into some of these different past life regressions. And we just had one here a couple of weeks ago where it was actually a Stargate session, which was incredible. But it was just so fitting because we host an annual Stargates of Ancient Egypt tour. Just got back in November, going again next March. And this is what we do: is we take people out there to Egypt and other places. We're going to Turkey later this year, introduce them to the locations and the hidden knowledge that's there, what the ancients were actually doing at these locations.
I love that. You're going to be in Sedona next week?
Yeah.
You better text me. I'm like, listen, for everyone on earth, I am like the spiritual mayor of Sedona. I am basically, if you guys watch the movie Braveheart, when he's talking to like the crazy like Irishman, he's like, that's my island. Sedona is my island. There's a lot of puppets walking around and NPCs, but welcome. Right. So no, I've been under about 16, 17 years. Stargates and portals. Let's take this our audience here. Look, I'm all wound up, Mike. I got a portals and Stargates interview going on. Why don't we go tick for tack? Let's tell everyone some of the craziest experiences we've had in each location on Earth that we visited. I'll go first. Craziest, going probably behind the scenes and accessing some of the king's tombs in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, and finding Akhenaten's tomb, which is in the back right-hand side, which is unmarked. Back right-hand side of the Valley of the Kings, they have Akhenaten's tomb there. And I've expressed in some of my other videos how to get your Anunnaki collar off. Most human beings have a collar around their neck energetically. What is that? It's so that certain polarities can control your information that's coming in and out of this dimension and timescape, let's just say. But to get that collar popped off, that is one of the things that you do is you go to the back right-hand side of the Valley of the Kings, ask Akhenaten or that royal family. There's a lineage there in the back right-hand side of the Valley of the Kings. My Anunnaki would never let me take my collar off. It was his elder that said, take his collar off. So as you guys are energetically going around the earth and activating different places, to remember that the fundamental things you want to work on is are these experiences, these locations activating your dormant DNA? Not to take pictures, not to have fun, but what are you breathing in from that history? What are you remembering? And I think going to these locations, Mike, I know you know this, is a much faster way to get those activations going because you are there. You know what I mean? It's not like looking at a picture on a screen. You're there and you're waking up in the morning at 6 a.m. and you're going, this feels like familiar. What do you, and then, okay. Okay. Tell them. I know Turkey has crazy stuff too. Go ahead.
Yeah, Turkey does. But, and actually this September will be the first time I go to Turkey. But yeah, when it comes to Egypt, my gosh, there's, every time I go inside the Great Pyramid, it's like there's some sort of new download. And, we get 2 hours, just ourselves, just our group, whole pyramid's wide open. And, just being able to feel that energy in there. I've gotten downloads about, oh my gosh, every time it's something different. Like the first time I was ever there, it happened to do with the Queen's Chamber and
right.
The whole way that it was set up as a machine. You see the physical evidence right there. You
can see the etch marks, and the thing looks like it caught on fire. I mean,
it was
damn
burning.
Thing.
Yes. Yeah, they're trying to say that it was, there was a statue or an idol that was in there, things like 15 feet tall. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense because yes, it's burned, it's scorched. The stone is actually melted. It's crazy. And then, there's this tunnel that goes out the back of it too. So, no, this had some sort of actual physical functionality to it, and it was just so obvious. It's like literally a smoking gun right there.
Mhm. No, the Giza, obviously I knew that Giza was a power plant a long time ago, but
Mm.
if you guys aren't aware of it, I do make pyramids, right, here at teamlightstore.com. And I know that grounding a pyramid, all of our pyramids are grounded from the wiring harnesses, from the capstones, and even our bed sets have a grounding cable. But when they found that, about like, I don't know if it's like half a mile away from the main Giza complex, they found those huge granite blocks that are in the ground that are just giant, like granite blocks.
Mhm.
If you zoom out and look at that from a macro scale, for me, it was like, oh, that's the grounding element. That's the low in the battery, and the top of the pyramid's the high. So the whole thing was set up like a machine. The entire Giza complex was set up like a machine. So it looks like a big circuit board. That's what it feels like
Well,
to me.
yeah, and then you look at the stones that are just right outside the black basalt stones and how they're cut in different shapes and they're perfectly interlocking together. And basically, it's as a one part as an insulator, but also the fact that as this machine is vibrating, it's keeping the plateau together. If you had it as just one solid block, it's going to break and crack and all that. So they had to interlock these things together to keep it together.
Right. Tell me some cool things about Turkey. I was in Istanbul a couple years, 2023. I was in Istanbul. Tell me about that. I know obviously that Sphinx out there. What's going on the ground out there in Turkey?
Yeah, well, they keep uncovering these ancient sites. Everybody knows about Göbekli Tepe, and they've kind of calmed down on excavating that, even though they've only excavated about 5% of it. But they are setting everything up for tourism, bringing in the money, bringing in people out there. A lot more has been going on with Karahan Tepe down the road, more active digging there over the last 6 years. But then there's others locations around that they're finding more and more of these sites with the circles and the T-shaped pillars and all that. And I'm actually really looking forward to getting into the underground cities because these, they try to attribute it to, the Hittites. Hey, we're on the run from the Phrygians, I'm sorry. And, the going idea for traditional academia is, well, they dug these out to hide from the invaders. And I'm sorry, but if you're on the run, you don't have time to dig out an entire city. So
No.
I think that these far, far, far predate the Hittites, like tens of thousands of years, because we find all over the world these, whether it's cave art or these places that are dug out, dating back to the last time that there was a pole flip about 40,000 years ago. People had to go inside because the Earth's magnetic protection got down to about 6 to 8%. And that's science that's telling us that. So
Right.
it makes sense. People went inside and dug out underground cities. So yeah, these far predate what traditional academia is telling us.
From your interpretation, what do you think is the normal surface magpole rotation every 40,000 years, give or say? Like, like, is it something that is there a certain alignment that takes place that's even part of a greater cycle that we can't see, other planets and alignments from different areas? And, for us, say it was 40,000 years ago, but are we due for, you think, a pole flip now? Or do you think we're in the middle of one right now?
Well, a lot of people keep speculating that the next pole flip is going to happen. The challenge of it is, the pole is always moving, and right now it's moving in a northwesterly direction, really headed towards Siberia. But when it has flipped like that, from what they've been able to test, is that it happens really fast. So it looks like it's just going about its normal course of moving, and all of a sudden will just flip really fast. So when it happens, we're not really going to know until that flip suddenly happens.
Right. Well, I know that it's been creeping because all of I remember about 4 years ago, all of the airplanes had to switch the radar from true north to the magnetic north because all the tarmacs, they were missing where they're landing on autopilot, or they're trying to line it up and they're like 6 feet to the left and it keeps moving. So, okay. So
they have to adjust for that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Okay, so we know that 33,000 years ago, between 33 and 38,000 years ago, all of Giza, Chichen Itza, and many of the ancient pyramids on Earth, due north was the center of Greenland, which was the old North Pole.
Mhm.
So what you're saying now, it's Black Rock, literally Black Rock, right? And this place in the North Pole. And then you're saying that it's heading towards Siberia. So my question is that the even older North Pole? Because I'm saying, what I keep saying is like the rotation of the planet, right? They were trying to show me that the magnetic pole kind of shifts similar to like when you water your lawn, you know, those little things that go, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da. You know what I mean? Like my guides are really funny. They're like, it's not you guys aren't going to do a barrel roll. That's not how it works. It's like a da, 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 and it locks on and then it snaps back. So maybe Siberia. Remember
It
in
could have been the
Siberia, the
original
old North Pole, so maybe however long ago. We know one was in Greenland. We know one we got Black Rock now, and the third one may have been in Siberia because isn't Siberia where they found all those huge detonation blasts on the coast, where they found all those divots and they didn't know what it was, and they would
There have
say
been a lot of strange things that have happened in Siberia.
Siberia.
The detonations, people going missing. We even look at the ancient Inuit legends from Alaska, and they talk about the giants that came over from Siberia into Alaska. So there's a lot that's been going on there.
Siberia, listen, I'm ready. We're going on an adventure.
We'll do
Who
a
speaks
Siberian
Russian? Let's go. Listen, no. But stargates and portals. Okay, doing all of the visitations and the things that you have done. What would you say? What ET species do you feel helps you the most when you're trying to decipher old information?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if there's any one specific ET species.
I can help you because they're like, ask them who the big blue beings were that come to you and when you're in these locations and try to help you. So
yeah, because you have a lot of these different I don't know, areas that have been attracted, like the American Southwest. You always hear about the ant people, the mantoids, those sorts. And like I've always been attracted to the like Montezuma's Well, that area. I'm going to take Kate there when we're over there in Sedona next week.
Oh, right.
I've been telling her so much about it. So I think it's a lot of different species that will get in touch with me. Whatever is the one that needs to give me the information in the moment. And,
right.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like, do you feel you have a more of a Syrian Andromedan Lyran connection, or do you feel it's more of a Mantid Anunnaki type connection?
More Syrian. I mean, well,
Syrian?
Kate's the one with the significant Sirius connection. I have a very serious Orion connection. So
Hey, see that? Listen, he doesn't know, but I know. I'm like, Mike.
Yeah.
Remember the Force, Mike. It's in your eyes, man. You're a Jedi.
There we go.
Yeah, no, we're yeah. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, this planet's very interesting with some of the different locations, and I think that there is a part of the homage, or at least the consciousness, that is trapped in the crystalline matrix. Maybe these ancient species. Well, like we well know, and Mike, I'm sure you know this, but the crystalline technology, like for example, a 7-inch double terminated Lemurian crystal can store 7 teraflops of information. Okay. And I know Billy Carson talked about this, but they've already been able to load programs into a quartz crystal and then extract them.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting to is we're kind of advancing in these different levels of technology. I feel that there is an energy or an informational membrane that is stored in the stones, rocks of these sacred locations.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I feel when you access certain, like for example, if the Syrians built a particular temple, let's just say, I feel it's almost like a representative of that culture, that if you are a human in the present day and you're accessing and trying to activate your dormant DNA and obviously sharing the truth, I feel it's almost like the builders of that temple who happen to be Syrian to be like, hey, you want me to show you where the door is? Here, the pin's 4425. Like I feel like there's some sort of family thing that goes on from ancient cultures. I do believe, was it Graham Hancock? I do believe that there are ancient civilizations on this planet and they were highly advanced.
Oh, absolutely.
And
you even look at the setup of these temples, and every entranceway into the temple, into the different, they are set up with granite, at least a granite threshold, in many cases a granite gateway. And that was so that as you entered into those temples, it would clear your energy and prepare you for when you went inside. So like when we've been talking a little bit here about stargates. Well, you go to the temple of Seti at Abydos, and there are many Stargate chambers within there, and they have the artwork on the wall showing the ingestion of the monatomic white gold case before you entered into the Stargate chambers. So there you are setting your frequency, so it clears as you go in, and then you set your frequency through these other means before you go into those Stargate chambers. So yeah, it was all about frequency, resonance, energy, vibration going into these locations.
Okay, so this is cool. So, and as far as the locations you visited on the planet, which ones did you feel were domestic gates? Domestic gates were explained to me. We're jumping from Istanbul or Turkey to Giza, or we're going from Giza to South America. And then, have you ever stepped into a location where it felt more like an international or planet to planet jump? Because it's a different vibe. Like out in the deserts out here. I don't know, it was Carlos Castaneda. I forget his name, but he was like a shaman dude. I think that guy was a painter, but there was something where there are like international, and that's what my guides call them, international gates, which is like planet to planet jumps, not domestic. So have you felt kind of when you go into a place like this place is old and I can feel it, this place is like ancient, you know what I mean? Like this is a real ancient portal or Stargate.
Well, yeah, and that's a great question. So, but you can actually see some of the evidence right here in front of your eyes. So you go to Elephantine Island. And Elephantine Island was more of a domestic gate, and you go into the temple of Satet, and you have a depiction on the wall of Satet in a Mayan headdress. So what in the world is the Satet doing with a Mayan headdress? We're in Egypt, but right at the top of the hill there is one of the stargates. So this most likely was a domestic stargate. But you go to a place like Temple of Hathor at Dendera, and even though the physicality of that temple is a bit newer, it has really, really ancient energy there, and that was depicted all throughout the artwork. These significant depictions on the ceilings of sure, it's all zodiacal, but you have the beings that are basically greeting the kings here in Egypt, and then you have the Stargate chamber that's at the rooftop of that. You have the Dendera zodiac that's on the rooftop. So everything was cosmically aligned to that particular temple. So that would have been an international Stargate.
Can you talk to me about the black granite? Because now you're triggering all kinds of memories inside of my head. The black granite that's at the true North Pole right now, that's being shifted, the black rock thing, the black granite that is in some of the oldest temples, the black granite that's almost as hard as diamonds, which if you were an extraterrestrial ancient species, you would use black granite because it's almost like indestructible. You literally need diamonds to etch it. Right. What is the vibe with the black granite? I mean, because there's something about it. Because here's the thing: we figure out the composite structure of per se. Say we have satellites going over the air, and we figure out every single temple that has black granite is carbon dated at this date because that was the building material that was the ancients used. And then we can run, LIDAR or whatnot, or the SDAR, right, from the satellites and go find every location on Earth that has that specific stone. All of a sudden, we can uncover all kinds of buried things. So that's what I'm trying to get with that black granite. It not only clears you, but I feel like it's, man, there's a part of me that feels that black granite almost was a construct of the ancient builders, and they only use that. It was like the hardest thing you could manifest in the physical was build with black granite. It lasts for 100,000 years. So. Right.
And that's how that you have these traditional archaeologists that are trying to tell you that, oh yeah, it was all stone and copper tools. Well, and like you were saying, pretty much one of the only things that can cut it and shape it and all is diamond. And you look at some of these cuts and etchings, and it's like, no, they would have had to have very fine diamond tools to actually cut the blocks. They would need diamond tip saw blades and things like this. So it tells us they had a very, very sophisticated technology thousands and thousands of years ago. And this was really before our dynastic Egyptians. These would have been more the Atlanteans or some of these other lost civilizations, that global civilization. And so, yeah, when you see black granite in use at some of these ancient locations, you know that, okay, these are, what we'd call, the pre-cataclysmic peoples, the pre-diluvian peoples that had constructed these things.
Right. We have a question for you, Mike. Is there a stargate of ancient resonant frequency under the earth in Greenland they don't want us to know about, as if they're going to try to keep it from us, but it's been more than our remembering? Anything? We know Greenland's a hot topic right now with the U.S. trying to go for Greenland. What do you think is under the ground in Greenland?
Yeah, Greenland's been coming up a lot lately. I saw somebody, asking AI a couple of weeks ago about a Stargate in Greenland. I think we need to be a little bit careful with AI, because we can get kind of like with statistics, we can get AI to say anything.
Right.
But yeah, Greenland, they've taken so many of these ice core samples there, and they're only releasing a little bit of that information. So if they're only releasing a little bit of the information from the ice core samples, and that leads us to believe there's more there that they are not telling us about. So yeah, and of course, considering that it was once the magnetic North Pole, it kind of leads us to believe that, yeah, there's something more significant going on in Greenland than we're being told. Of course, Trump is all over about wanting to get his hands on it. And why would the United States want something to do with that if there wasn't something powerful about it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of infrastructure and investment that they know something's there. And they're not guessing. The U.S. military is not guessing what's under the ice. They already know what's under the ice. Yep. Probably similar to some of the stuff they found in Antarctica. Is what, again, building with the black granite. And there's a great interview on Gaia with, I forget the lady's name. She's a little older, but she had two ex-military guys telling her.
Linda Moulton Howe.
Yes, Linda Moulton Howe, and she's had this whole thing where they have like the midnight, that the inner Earth sun, the midnight sun, etched on everything inside the temple, and it's all black granite.
And that in Antarctica, you can go all the way back to World War II. Why in the world, was Adolf Hitler interested in Antarctica? They try to say, oh, well, they were trying to set up a whaling operation for oil, and it doesn't make sense to go all the way down there for that. We know what he was after were significant power pieces from across the world. He was, getting all this artwork, getting all these sculptures. He was looking for things like the Spear of Destiny and all this stuff because he, thought that was going to give the Third Reich power. Well, they went down to Antarctica. Why? Because they knew something was down there, something powerful. And I do believe under the ice there, you are going to find the ruins of ancient pyramids and things like this that had connected back to Egypt, Atlantis, all these other locations. And we always talk about, how did they build these huge structures? We don't even have the technology today. Well, I think that whether it was sound technology or anti-gravity technology, I think it's hidden under the ice there in Antarctica.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I've been kind of asking my guides to get me more information on the Agartha network. I even asked Grok to hack the neural network of the inner Earth communications. And we went back and forth for half an hour, and I gave some clearance, and all of a sudden it was like, which portal would you like to access? Because I know inner Earth beings and inner Earth is monitoring the surface. And I was like, well, where are the junction points and where they're monitoring? What stations? What countries do they have the stations in? Like I went like Origato, Mr. Roboto, bro.
Nice.
Like I was like, yo, I'm an ET in a human suit. Yo, where's everybody at? You know what I mean? I thought the illusion's gone. Have you had any interactions or found anything very interesting from inner Earth? You know what I mean? In ancient civilizations, because they all say that there's a tunnel going underneath Giza. There's a tunnel going underneath Turkey. There's a tunnel under Tibet, and they all lead down to Agartha or the inner Earth. So my question is, we're all up here looking around black granite and all this stuff. I'm like, what are all these tunnels go? And who are they interacting with? So I'm sure you know more about it.
Well, there's a lot of things that we know. I mean, of course, our military, our government, they have hidden underground installations. I used to work for NSA, so I know about some of these different hidden locations. When you even just look at some of the ancient legends, like the ant people bringing the peoples underground during the cataclysm. Where did they go? How were they protected? There had to be these huge underground chambers, and a lot of them, there are going to be old lava tubes, old magma chambers that are leading to deeper locations within the ground. Yeah, there are a lot of connections that are talked about between many of these different locations that do go underground. But then even, again, my fiance Kate, she's a QHHT practitioner, had a fantastic session. Neither she nor her client are into Sasquatch or anything like that. But one of the things that came out of this session was that not only were the Sasquatch using portals to come in and out of our dimension, but they also lived in an inner earth and had the crystal technology that you're talking about earlier, where you have these huge crystals that just contained all the knowledge of the universe. So really, really fascinating information that we're getting.
My question is, in the U.S. military, there's a part of me that feels that some of us, I mean, obviously you're a star seed, Mike. I know you know that. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of us we're not from here. Mike's, I know your wife knows that. Syrian. Yeah. But what I'm getting to is that there is some sort of facilitation of interaction and integration of the civilian population as far as like the intelligence or vibratory state of the people of Earth. And I know JP goes into this a lot when he was talking about the space arcs and how that some indigenous people actually were the ones that opened the doors. Mm-hmm. They remember the songs, they remember the tones, it's in their culture. My thing is, what I don't want to get into a place where we have the wrong people trying to open the doors that never incarnated for that purpose. Rather, they're trying to force their way into something they are not energetically or spiritually prepared to deal with. Now, all of us that have been at this game for quite some time, we know dimensional beings are real. We know the astral is real. We know the spirit realm is real. We know energy is everything. So it's just, for me, I've always tried to like reach out. And it's so funny how many of my friends are either retired SSP or military. Mike, I don't think you understand. I don't know if someone needs to like tap me on the shoulder and go, Grandpa, you're like 140. You've done 220 and back. So I'm like, oh my God. How do I know all this stuff? What I'm getting to for all of us figuring this out within inside of ourselves is this. Grace, I would like more interactions with the beings of inner earth. I think that the population is ready. I think there's a critical mass. I know they watch our videos and our content. I know why they hide certain things. And some people are like, I've been at this for 15 years. I just found your videos. What is this? I know that some of us are compartmentalized because we really are the starseeds talking to the starseeds. And that's really what this is, kind of at ground command here in Sedona. But Mike, I don't know, bro. I'm just excited. There's a part of me that wants to pop your top when you come out here to Sedona. I got to be honest. There's a part of me that's like, let's go, because the data you have and how you've, attained it. I love the scientific data to back up common sense. I love the scientific data to back up what our intuition is telling us in the first place. So, and I think it's really important,
It is, because, you're never going to convince those people that are, on the far side of, I'm never going to believe you're never going to convince them. But there are a lot of people that are on the fence, that are in the middle, that are like, I just don't know. And sometimes they just need that little bit of, okay, here's some hard data to go along with everything that you might be experiencing, everything that, we're talking about from a metaphysical standpoint, but, here's a little bit of science for you as well. And they see it and the light bulb clicks. Oh, okay, I get it now. So I think you need a healthy mix like that. And yes, definitely when we're out in Sedona next week, we should connect.
Absolutely. You should do a tour with Sheila Neese, a night vision tour. She has the class 4 night vision goggles. You'll see crafts all night long. It's like crazy out here. But with that, ladies and gents, I know my brother has another appointment. I just wanted to say, Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our podcast. And everyone out there would love to see Mike, his beautiful wife, and everything. Please come out to Rise of the Guardians. He's going to be giving a beautiful presentation. Mike, yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a great time. I mean, this thing, what we're doing together is there's a vibe. And that's really what I want to share with the earth is this. There's a vibe and a frequency of people that know we're not from here, that are here to be of service, beautiful light beings. And here's the truth. When we all get together, we send ripples across the planet, just like we did the Bridge Expo in October. We literally change reality when we're all together. And Mike, I think you're one of those missing pieces, brother. And I'm just very happy to have you at Rise of the Guardians, May 8th through the 10th. And you can get your tickets at teamlightstore.com. So Mike, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. People can find me, all my books and everything I'm doing, MikeRicksecker.com. You'll find the books, the events, the tours, all that out there. ConnectedUniversePortal.com. That's my online learning platform. We get very, really deep into all these topics that we've been talking about. And then, of course, social media. You can find me all over the place. My YouTube channel. You can find me, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff as well.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Stargates and Portals. We'll do more interviews because I know Mike has some secrets, and I will pull them out. I'll pull them right out of his face. I'm like, Mike, let's talk about what's going on. You're like, hey, listen, we're doing this. I'm like, Mike, who's the guy that talks to you every night? Your higher self. I see him in the blue robes. No. Yeah. We are stronger together, ladies and gents. And here at TeamLight, I just want to remind you guys that I know on Earth right now, we're all going through a transition, but to hold tight and believe in one another. And yes, we are the true disclosure, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to come from me and you. Till next time. Peace.
Turn off the light, take a deep breath, and relax.
From the stars we came, ancient souls awake. Pleiadian light, Arcturian grace, Rion wisdom in our veins. Star seeds rise and breaking chains. Feeling the call, the inner spark ignite. DNA strands weaving through the night. Kundalini fire climbing up the spine like body activation, divine design. Ascending now to the seventh dimension, where divine grace flows in pure intention. We rise, we shine in crystalline light. Seventh dimension calling us to the light. Releasing karma, old densities fade, crystals humming, sacred grids remade, vibrational shift from 3D to 5D and beyond. Galactic family, eternal bond. Ascending now to the seventh dimension.